It's time now for Focus, and a year ago the world hailed a dramatic win for Aung San Suu Kyi's party in Burma's elections. It was another dramatic step out of the military junta years that had shut the country off from much of the world, both politically and economically. 12 months on, our correspondents are back in Burma to see how much has changed. This report from Clovis Casali and Charles Dupoisat.
A year ago, they were campaigning hard for Aung San Suu Kyi. They decorated their trishaws with NLD party stickers and encouraged their passengers to vote. Victory came, but without the change of regulations these bicycle taxis hoped for. They are still forbidden to ride in parts of the city centre due to the heavy traffic. Some trishaws ignore the law, risking fines. It's a question of survival, they say. As Rangoon undergoes major changes, these Burmese feel left out.
The prices are increasing, and the money we make from our work isn't enough to provide for our families. But we have to take time and wait for the changes implemented by Our Lady.
Minutes later, an argument breaks out, with a young man accusing us of being Muslims, seeking to tarnish him and his group's reputations. His trishaw colleagues quickly come to our defense. Angry words turn into a fistfight. This isolated incident might well be the sign of frustrations and simmering tensions between communities in Burma, a country with 135 different ethnic groups suffering from decades of civil war. De facto leader Aung San Suu Kyi's priority is national reconciliation, and a first step came in August with her Panglong conference that brought together for the first time most rebel armies for peace negotiations. But fighting continues in parts of Burma. The international community has raised concerns over the fate of the hundreds of thousands of displaced people living in camps, including the Rohingya Muslims in the Rakhine state, one of the world's most persecuted minorities according to the UN.
Whether it is in Kachin state or Shan state, where you find people trapped on the other side of the front line, where we don't have access to them, where they don't have access to government services, whether it's 1 million people without citizenship in Rakhine state who simply don't have those rights as well. That needs to change. Some parts of Rakhine state, where the Muslim communities are the poorest of the poor over there, and the most vulnerable of them.
The army has prevented NGOs from bringing humanitarian assistance to the displaced in the past weeks, arguing the areas were too dangerous. This footage shows the living conditions in the Rohingya camps in Rakhine, a state where deadly fighting has recently taken place. Human Rights Watch released satellite imagery to prove that entire villages had been set on fire and destroyed, like Kyetionpin. Meanwhile, allegations of rapes, as well as killings of unarmed Rohingya men by the army, have emerged. This minister, close to the Burmese Nobel Peace Prize laureate, is reluctant to talk about those areas. She's asking for patience and trust in the leader.
She doing step by step, clearly, transparently, and also time management is very important. We want to change the system, not any junta government. She don't want to happen like this again.
Will the army let her do that?
Yeah, because she is now discussing with the army, and also army is like her brother. She treats like her brother.
Now in power, Aung San Suu Kyi must work with the same generals who placed her under house arrest for some 15 years. On the Rangoon Avenue named after her father, Burma's independence hero, shops are full of books on the family. Here the owner goes by the name of Peter. He's proud to show us a picture of his sister in the arms of the leader they affectionately call the Lady. Not a word on the past. He prefers to focus on the future.
Most of our people, they are depend on Aung San Suu Kyi. She's our Iron Lady. So she will save our country. She will not be president because of our constitution law. But in our people's mind, she will be above the president forever.
A year after her triumph with 3/4 of the votes, Aung San Suu Kyi is still very much an icon, and most of the population thinks she's the only one capable of moving the country forward. For that, she will have to negotiate as always with the army, who retains a large amount of power.